Good day, guys. I'm Feb,
And I'm Zen.
and we're here to discuss networking. Let's start with the OSI layers. So, what is OSI means?
OSI is also known as Open Systems Interconnection. It is a reference model for how applications can communicate over a network. The main concept of OSI is that the process of communication between two endpoints in a telecommunication network can be divided into 7 distinct groups of related functions or layers. So here are the 7 layers of OSI model.
The seventh layer is the application layer. It provides services directly to user applications. Because of the potentially wide variety of applications, this layer must provide a wealth of services. Among these services are establishing privacy mechanism, authenticating the intended communication partners, and determining if adequate resources are present.
The sixth layer is the presentation layer. It performs data transformations to provide a common interface for user applications, including services such as reformatting, data compression, and encryption. Common interface for user applications, including services such as reformatting, data compression, and encryption.
The fifth layer is the session. It establishes, manages, and end-user connections and manage the interaction between end systems. Services include such things as establishing communications as full or half duplex and grouping data.
The fourth layer is the transport layer. It insulates the 3 upper layers, 5 through 7, from having to deal with the complexities of layer 1 through 3 by providing the functions necessary to guarantee a reliable network link. Among other functions, this layer provides error recovery and flow control between two endpoints of the network connection.
The third layer is the network layer. It establishes, maintains, and terminates network connections.
The second layer is the data link layer. It ensures the reliability of physical link established at layer 1. Standards define how data frames are recognized and provide necessary flow control and error handling at the frame level.
And the first layer is the physical layer. It controls transmission of the raw bit stream over the transmission medium. The next topic is about the basic network terminologies. First is the Apache. One of the world's most popular web server programs, Apache was built by a group of open source programmers and is often used because of its outstanding performance, strong security features, and the fact that it is a free.
The next is the application infrastructure. It is the software components that your custom application relies on for its functionality. Example includes web servers, application servers, and database servers.
Next is the bandwidth. The bandwidth is the amount of data that can be transmitted at a given moment to a server. The higher your bandwidth, the larger amount of traffic your site can handle at one time.
Next is the CGI, short for Common Gateway Interface, a small script that processes data taken from the user, such as a form of application.
And next is the CGI bin, the directory on a web server where CGI scripts are stored.
Next is the cloud. It is a pool of highly available servers and computing services made available for general use by web and other network-based applications.
And the cloud bursting. The cloud bursting is using cloud resources as a pressure valve when an increased amount of computer resources are required for a burst in traffic or short-term demand spikes in activity or load.
Next is the cloud computing. The sharing of compute resources and related infrastructure components is to facilitate the deployment and operation of web and network-based applications. The cloud computing environments provide developers and their customers direct on-demand access to large-scale and scalable computing capabilities.
And the last one is the DDoS, or short for Distributed Denial of Service Attack, the most common form of attack on network devices. It overwhelms a network by monopolizing its bandwidth by flooding it with information from multiple hosts, thereby preventing legitimate network traffic. Next is DDoS, short for Distributed Denial of Service Attack, the most common form of attack on network devices.
Next is the device. It refers to the individual hardware components that make up a unique hosted configuration.
Next is firewall, a piece of security software or hardware designed to protect web servers.
FTP, short for File Transfer Protocol, a method of allowing remote users and web servers to exchange files.
Grid computing. Next is DDoS, short for Distributed Denial of Service Attack, the most common form of attack on network devices.
Next is the device. It refers to the individual hardware components that make up a unique hosted configuration.
Next is firewall, a piece of security software or hardware designed to protect web servers.
FTP, short for File Transfer Protocol, a method of allowing remote users and web servers to exchange files.
Grid computing, or use of a computational grid. It is applying the resources of many computers in a network to a single problem at the same time.
HTML, Hypertext Markup Language, the language by which web servers and clients browsers communicate.
HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, is the underlying protocol used by the World Wide Web to define how messages are formatted and transmitted.
IDS, short for Intrusion Detection System. It recognizes all types of hostile network traffic and computer usage that can be detected by a conventional firewall.
IIS, short for Internet Information Server, Microsoft's server software for Windows NT 2000.
IP, short for Internet Protocol, which designates the format of data packets that are used to exchange information over the Internet.
Load balancing, distributing data across a network of servers in order to ensure that a single web server does not get overloaded with work, thereby affecting performance.
Manage backup. It refers to the copying of data for the purpose of having an additional copy of a original source, especially storing data on separate tape media not located at the server.
Name server, A server responsible for translating domain names and IP addresses.
NOC, short for Network Operations Center, a hosting company's home base, so to speak. NOC, short for Network Operations Center. It is usually where most administrations, technical support, and physical server storage takes place.
On-demand software. Software applications provided through networks. On-demand software delivery for local installation and use is sometimes referred to as software on demand.
Packet switching, the method by which most data is exchanged throughout the internet.
Scalability, the ability to adapt to rapid changes in demand by dynamically adding or removing cloud resources based upon performance metrics and load thresholds.
SQL, short for Standard Query Language, a standard protocol used to request information from databases.
And the last one is the VPN, short for Virtual Private Network, a private communications network usually used within a company or by several different companies to communicate over a public network. And now we go with the next part, the networking tool. This is all about the router, and will teach you how to configure router, assigning hostname, making a banner, line console and line VTY, creating password and password encryption. So let's start with the configuration.
For our next tutorial, we will be configuring a router. Now we're going to put some routers. Before we put some connection, we're going to drag weak to T, but first turn it off. Now we're going to put connections on each router. We'll be using serial DCE with the clock. We will be going to assign a host name, and we're going to put a banner, a password, and that's all. And now router 0, we will be configuring it. Go to CLI. Continue with configuration dialog. The answer is no. Then enter the command enable. Enter the command configuration terminal or conft, and you will be assigning the host name. This is the command. And as you can see, it is already there. Now, we will be assigning a password. I will be using the password Cisco but you can also use other passwords. And now we will be using command banner MOP, then the message you want. And this is the command that you enter a while ago. To enter in the console, enter the command conft, then use the command line console 0 and put a password. Then log in and exit. Another console or line is the line VTY. Password. Log in. Then don't forget to save. To test if it's working, exit the message, the banner that we made, and a password. And enable the password again. And that's how you create password into a router. So now let us encrypt the password so no one can see it. Sorry, is the command. To verify it by using the command show running config. As you can see, the password is already encrypted. Don't forget to save.
We're done with the router, and now we'll go to the last part. The last part of our tutorial is the networking tree, which covers the switch and the configuration. Under the switch, we have VLAN, VTP, VTP modes. Switch, also known as network switch. It is a computer networking device that connects devices together on a computer networking by using packet switching to receive, process, and forward data to the destination device.
VLAN, also known as virtual LAN. It is a grouping of network devices that is not restricted to a physical segment or switch. It can be configured on most switches to restructure broadcast domain. There are 4 benefits of VLAN. First, to ease the adding and moving stations of the LAN. Second is to ease the reconfiguring of LAN. 3. Better traffic control. And the last is increased security.
VTP, or also known as Virtual LAN Trunking Protocol. It is a Layer to data link that is normally used for switches and bridges. It is Cisco proprietary protocol. It is also a messages protocol. There are three modes under VTP: the server mode, client mode, and the transparent mode. The server mode, where you can add, modify, and delete. The client mode, that you can only view, propagate the changes that was made by the server. And the last one, the transparent mode. It is not participating in VTP. It can only forward information into trunk links.
And now, we'll teach you how to configure switches. Now, let's open the Cisco Packet Tracer. Cisco Packet Tracer, it is a software that allows the user to simulate and experiment network behavior. First, we're going to put switches. And next, we're gonna put the multi-layer. Also, we're going to put some end devices. 2 end devices for each switches. Now we're going to put some connection between switches to switches. From switch 0, you will be using fast Ethernet 01. Going to multi-layer, and we're going to use fast Ethernet 01 also. From switch 1, we will be using fast Ethernet 01 to fast Ethernet 02. And from switch 0, we're going to use fast Ethernet 02 to fast Ethernet 01 to switch 2. And from switch 2, we will be using fast Ethernet 02 and fast Ethernet 02 to switch 1. And we will put some connection between end devices and switches. Any fast Ethernet will do.
And now we will assign names to all switches. First, we will open the CLI. In the multi-layer, then type the enable. This is the enable command to take you to the user mode. Then conf t to take you to the privilege mode. Then type the host name. Enter the name that you'll choose. Mine is multi-layer. Then end or exit. Let's go with the switch 1 and do the same thing. the switch 2, and the last is the switch 3. For you not to confuse, the host name that we assigned a while ago is only for the name of each devices. While now we will assign a name for VTP domain, and we will be using the domain name to all switches to share information on the same domain. We will assign the multi-layer switch as a server. And switch port both trunk for all the connections. And we will be using this command, show VTP status, to know the status of the VTP. As you can see, the operating mode is server. The multi-layer now is the server. And now we will assign the VTP domain. VTP domain my domain. And now we will assign two VLANs, the VLAN 10 and the VLAN 20. Then exit. Then show VLAN.
And now, as you can see, there is the two VLANs that we assigned a while ago. And now we will be assigning IP addresses on each end devices. First, click the PC or end device and go to desktop and then IP configuration. We will be using 10.0.0.02 for the first PC, which is PC 0, the subnet mask is automatic, so you don't need to type it down. And then PC2, it serves as IP addresses. The IP address is 20.0.0.02, and we will be going to assign the other 4 end devices. And now we will be configuring the switches. Enter enable. Then configuration terminal. We will be assigning domain name for this switch, but we will be using my domain because we assign this domain in the multi-layer that will be also serves as the domain of the 3 switches. Multi-layer serves as the server. Now the switch will be the client. And now we will be going to assign a mode, which is the trunk. We'll be entering the configuration terminal in range FA0/3 because the fast Ethernet that we assigned is 0/3 to 04. To access the VLAN that we assign on multi-layer, we will be using these commands. Because we only have 2 end devices, each device is the VLAN 10 and the VLAN 20. And then exit, and don't forget to save. And we will be going to do this on the other 2 switches. After we configure all switches multi-layer and assign IP addresses to the end devices, we will going now to test if the connection between end devices and switches is running. Now we will be configure or ping PC4 to PC3. If the connection is good. And okay, the connection, as you can see, 0% lost, which means that is running. And now we're done. We configure it all. Thank you.